What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're gonna be reacting to every feature Playboi Carti refused to clear. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you like Carti, but let's get into the video.
When it's come to some of rap's biggest tracks, Carti has refused to clear his features. And as someone who's been following Carti's career for years now, I'm gonna be showing you some pretty popular tracks that Carti originally had verses on, and the stories as to why he pulled his feature. Some of them are pretty crazy. At the end of 2024, Tyler the Creator dropped one of the year's most hyped
Not gonna lie, I could tell this some what's it called, some ChatGPT type script. I could just tell.
up album, Chromacopia, a follow-up nearly 4 years in the making to his last project, Call Me If You Get Lost. Throughout the rollout of the project, I don't think too many people were expecting a Carti feature, so nobody seemed too surprised when he wasn't featured on Chromacopia, despite their previous collabs. However, things started getting interesting when fans started receiving their vinyls, and when they got to the track, Thought I Was Dead, they realized Carti actually had a verse that wasn't on streaming. Now, it's never unusual for vinyls to be different from their streaming releases because records need to be manufactured ahead of time, so they can't account for last-minute tweaks to album releases. Now, at this time, people assumed Carti's label was to blame in blocking the verse last minute. I personally never fully bought into this because of the hype surrounding Chromacopia and the fact that he had cleared verses for random artists such as Camila Cabello that year. Now, many people actually ended up forgetting about that hidden verse until July 2025, when Tyler the Creator dropped his verse on POV off of Clips' latest album, a verse that he apparently recorded 80 different times. On the track, Tyler talks about a situation where someone threatened to sue him because of a feature. Tyler himself put the bar into context, stating on Twitter, "An old friend I've made music with threatened to sue me over a feature they gave me." I honestly think it's crazy how this verse pretty much ruined Carti and Tyler's relationship for no good reason. Now, if you think Carti did Tyler dirty in this situation, wait until you hear what he allegedly did to Offset of the Migos. So back in late 2023, Offset started teasing the release of a new solo project, Set It Off. Part of this rollout included playing unreleased tracks from the project at various events. Now, one of these tracks was a Playboi Carti featured song, Rock Out. Carti fans ended up falling in love with the snippet, building up hype for Set It Off. However, when the project dropped in October, Rock Out was nowhere to be found. Offset later confirmed in an interview that Carti ended up not clearing the feature and seemed bummed out about the whole situation.
Shout out to bro though, man. He should have cleared that motherfucker smash though. I ain't gonna cap.
However, the kicker here is 2 years later, in March 2025, Nav goes to drop his new album, On My Way to Rexdale. The album ends up including the track Unlimited featuring Playboi Carti. Now, people quickly pieced together that this song is actually the track from the Offset Rockout snippet. Same beat, same Carti verse, but Offset is taken out and replaced by Nav. That's brutal, and you gotta feel bad for Offset here. In this case, it doesn't really seem like a personal beef, but rather Carti's team not clearing many features at the time, and then 2 years later, Nav taking advantage of Carti's partnership with The Weeknd's XO, a partnership that also led to this next track not dropping. Okay, so in the summer of 2024, the smoke was starting to clear after the Drake and Kendrick Lamar feud. Now, the public narrative was that Drake had lost after Kendrick dropped Not Like Us, and as such, Drake started plotting a comeback. So Drake creates this new Instagram account called Plot Twist, and he starts teasing new music and photos in a rather mysterious way. One of the songs posted is a track called No Face, which features a Playboi Carti hook, believed to have been recorded before the Drake vs. Kendrick beef. Up to this point, Drake and Carti had a pretty good working relationship. They had put out Pain 1993 after being brought together by Ian Connor, and Drake had also recorded a verse on Carti's fan favorite leak, One Day. Anyway,
Right.
No Face finally hit streaming services on August 30th, 2024, only this time with no Carti hook. People attribute Carti's verse not being cleared for streaming due to the fact that in between the record
Low-key, chat, I don't understand why Cardi be doing that, but he has fire music. He has so many chances to like he can be making so much money off of songs that he could have possibly dropped, but he low-key, I don't think he loves his fans, chat. He low-key hates us, not gonna lie.
and release of
Hey, but his concert was fire, I'm not gonna lie.
No Face, Carti ended up forming a close friendship with one of Drake's longtime ops and public Kendrick supporter during the beef, The Weeknd. The Weeknd was someone who Drake even took shots at on his Kendrick diss track, Family Matters. Carti was making a statement about which side of the beef he picked by blocking the feature. This was further proven only a week after Drake put out No Face without Carti, when Carti and The Weeknd hit the stage together in Brazil. This is where they previewed Timeless, one of Carti's biggest songs, for the first time ever. Speaking of rap beefs, let's talk about the beef that led to Carti blocking a feature on Kid Cudi's 2024 album, Insano. So I think at this point, most Carti fans know about the mentorship role Kanye West has played in Carti's career development.
Right.
Now this really started when Carti brought on Kanye as an executive producer of his third project, Whole Lotta Red, back in 2022. During the sessions for the album, Kanye ended up bringing his friend at the time, Kid Cudi, to come and record some tracks for Whole Lotta Red, which is how we got Metamorphosis featuring Kid Cudi on the project. Now during these sessions, Carti and Cudi recorded other tracks, such as a remix to the very famous Carti leak, Pissy Pamper or Kid Cudi, and a new track called Solo Dolo 4. Fast forward to 2021,
Okay.
Kim Kardashian leaves Kanye West and starts dating Pete Davidson.
Right.
Now Kanye very publicly starts feuding Pete as a result, and Kanye's friendship with Kid Cudi, which was already on the rocks, gets caught in the crossfire. Kanye is upset that Kid Cudi is still friends with Pete Davidson despite his relationship with Kim. Kanye and Cudi start beefing into 2022, and Kanye ends up taking Cudi off his album Donda 2 because they are no longer friends. Then Kid Cudi makes his own statement that April, explaining why he cleared a feature on a track with Kanye and Pusha T for Rock and Roll, basically saying he doesn't like Kanye anymore but cleared the verse for Pusha T. So coming back to Solo Dolo 4, which had been sitting in a vault since 2020. In November 2022, Cudi previews Solo Dolo 4 for the first time at a concert in Paris, where he calls Carti his brother.
There's one song I've been sitting on for a while. It features my brother, Playboi Carti, and it's called Solo Dolo Part 4. Turn that shit up.
Which honestly surprised me at the time, given
I just told Rich to be rich.
Cudi's falling out with Kanye and Kanye's close relationship with Carti. After playing the track at his concert, fans start hounding Kid Cudi to drop the song. A couple of months after this, we get to April 2023. Cudi starts talking about his next album and the artists that'll be on it, and Carti isn't one of them. And when a fan asks about Solo Dolo 4, Cudi says Carti won't clear the track, which is weak. I think this confirms that Carti hadn't been rocking with Cudi since he started beefing Kanye and blocked the feature as an act of loyalty, which is ironic because Carti ended up beefing Kanye himself after leaving Kanye off of I Am Music. Okay,
Bro,
so I know that was a long one.
Yo, Kanye, listen to me. Don't argue with my goat. Don't argue with my baby. You know Cardi will beat you up.
So let's quickly talk about some other features that Carti blocked and my speculation as to why. First off, let's talk about Singapore, which is a collab track between Destroy Lonely and Ken Carson, who are jokingly referred to as Carti's rap children and signed to his label Opium. The track Singapore was released on Ken Carson's album A Great Chaos in October 2023, a project that propelled Ken from the underground to the mainstream of rap. A while later, a version of the track leaked showing Playboi Carti originally had a verse on the song. Now I think the reason that Carti didn't clear this feature is quite simple. I think Carti wanted both Ken and Destroy Lonely to grow their own audiences using their own merit and not relying on Carti's popularity. I think this is why we never saw a release collaboration between Carti, Destroy Lonely, and Ken Carson until Ken Carson's 2025 album More Chaos, At that point, Ken and Lone were already established artists. A lot of times, I've seen artists start their own labels and their signees are quickly overshadowed. I think a prime example of this was how quickly signees to Trippie Redd's 1400 Records fell off. Speaking of Trippie Redd, let's talk about the verse that Carti wouldn't clear for him. In 2023, the hype for Trippie Redd was high. Trippie Redd was looking to follow up his acclaimed 2021 album Trip at Night, which included hit songs such as his collab track with Playboi Carti, Miss the Rage. Trippie's 2023 follow-up album was called Mansion Music, which had a darker, more gritty feel to it, perfect for Carti. However, his feature was nowhere to be found upon release. However, right after the album dropped, a snippet of the first song on the project of the same name, Mansion Music, surfaced, featuring an alleged Carti verse. At the time, people weren't actually sure if this was Carti because of how deep the voice on the feature was. At the time, the only deep voice Carti we had heard was his previewed feature on Mr. Miyagi off of Donda 2. But now, I think it's pretty obvious that it's actually Carti. And I agree with a fan theory as to why the verse wasn't cleared. Carti waited until Travis Scott's Utopia release that same summer to debut his new flow, which is how we got the song Fiend. Travis Scott's Utopia was a much more hyped project.
Something like that.
Being a follow-up to Astroworld 5 years in the making. Given the success of Fiend, I think Carti made the right call, even though he screwed over Trippie Redd in the process. Now, let's go back in time and talk about a Young Lean feature Carti wouldn't clear during the Whole Lotta Red rollout. In May 2020, cloud rapper Young Lean dropped his 4th studio album, Stars. During the rollout, fans were definitely thinking a Carti feature could be on the table due to their friendship and the two being pictured together in the studio frequently during this time. And closer to the release date of the album, the creative director for Stars posted a track list which listed a Carti feature on the track Yayo. As you can imagine, when the album hit streaming, the feature was nowhere to be found. That is, until, just like Chromacopia, fans started getting their hands on the vinyl for Stars, which included a pulled Carti feature on the track Yayo. Following the release of the album, Young Lean took to Instagram to shout out Carti, saying Carti's label was responsible for removing the feature. And not Young Lean or Carti. But I think that there's a little bit more to this, so let me give you my theory. If you've listened to Carti for a while now, you've heard about there being multiple versions of Whole Lotta Red, as Carti was experimenting with his style a lot during the rollout for the album. Right now, the consensus among fans is that the release version we got of Whole Lotta Red was version 3. But when he recorded this verse for Yayo, he was planning on releasing version 2, a much more high-pitched and experimental version. But when he dropped the first single for Whole Lotta Red version 2, Atme, which was a month prior to Stars in April 2020, he received a lot of hate. Then, on May 1st, 2020, he put out his verse on Pain 1993 with Drake, also in the V2 voice, which got even more hate, with fans saying that he ruined the song. So 2 weeks after the Drake drop, on May 15th, it's Young Lean's turn to drop. And I think at that point, Carti, or at least his label, says that he needs to go back to the drawing board and redo Whole Lotta Red. They probably didn't want any more songs put out in that style, and unfortunately for Young Lean, that included Yayo. Despite the similarities to the Tyler situation, I think Carti is still good friends with Lean, as he gave praise to I Am Music and was in the studio with Carti when he recorded All Red. On the topic of Carti's friends, let's talk about probably one of his best friends in the rap game, Lil Uzi Vert. In 2024, during the rollout of Uzi's highly anticipated album Pink Tape, Uzi had been teasing that we would get a reunion of 1629, aka the name of Carti and Uzi's partnership, a duo that we hadn't heard official collabs from since 2018's Die Lit. Fans were disappointed when the project dropped in late June with no Carti verse, but things got crazy when fans went to stream the album on YouTube because an unheard Carti and Uzi track was accidentally uploaded in the place of where the track Patience featuring Don Toliver was supposed to be. The song, which was later removed, is now known to fans as Pass It or Rich Ass Bastard. Theorized to be an intended track for Pink Tape, but lo and behold, it was pulled right before release due to Carti blocking his feature. Now many people believe that this wasn't an accidental drop at all, but rather someone on Uzi's team, or maybe even Uzi himself, being fed up with Carti and wanting to let the world hear the track. I personally buy into this theory because if it were a genuine accident, the track would have been uploaded to all streaming services instead of Patience, not just YouTube. Also, the buzz that the incident brought to Pink Tape only helped with album sales, so I think once Uzi's team knew that they had an unusable Carti feature, they were like, let's at least get some promo out of this. And by the way, artists leak their own music all the time, especially to test the waters if fans like a certain sound. A notable example of this was when people thought Drake leaked his first diss track towards Kendrick, Push Ups, days before its official release to see if people would mess with it. But at the same time, this could have been a genuine accident, as the rollout for Pink Tape seemed very disorganized. And I've heard that the track in question, Patience, wasn't even supposed to have Don Toliver on it, but the producer, Bugs Ronan, sent the beat to both Uzi and Don Toliver. Okay, to finish off this video, I want to end on a positive note. So let's talk about the time that the internet bullied Carti into clearing a feature.
Thank you.
Back in 2024, Lotto started teasing her new album, Sugar Honey Iced Tea, and took to Instagram to preview the track list. Fans were quick to spot the track Blixum, with the feature name covered but suspected to be Carti. Now these suspicions were later confirmed when the track was previewed and then even leaked. Quickly, the leak started doing numbers on TikTok, specifically to Carti's verse. Fans even uploaded the track to Spotify, which gained a ton of streams until it was taken down. It was obvious that Lotto and Carti had a hit on their hands. So it makes zero sense that when Lotto went to release her album in August of 2024, Carti's verse was left off of Blixum. Like, I don't even have a theory as to why this happened, because Carti was clearing so many features in 2024, including multiple for Kanye on Vultures 2, who had become a controversial figure at that point. Anyway, the leaked version of the track continued to do numbers online, which made it harder to sweep under the rug, unlike previous tracks we've talked about in today's video. Because of that, Carti started getting backlash, and finally, months later, at the start of 2025, Carti finally cleared his verse for Blixum, and it was added onto Lotto's album.
Thank you.
This time with Swamp Izzo ad-libs to fit the vibe of
Blixum, sticks up. I'm in the 4x4. Yeah, I got my wrist up. Swamp Izzo. Swamp Izzo.
I Am Music.
Swamp Izzo.
I'm glad that we finally ended up getting this track. But I low-key just think it's crazy that Carti has consistently screwed his friends over the years and starved us fans of new music. Anyway, if you want to stay up to date about crazy stories like this, make sure you subscribe.
Alright, YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know how you feel about Carti clearing out all these features. And let me know how you guys like Carti. For me, I really like his music. I think right now he's my top artist of 2026. But yeah, go check out the main channel. New vlog coming out soon.